launching a tasty pastry. It's a low-carb Pop-Tart. It's got 3 to 4 grams of net carbs, and we love this show. This is our best place to be in LA.
Welcome back to Legendary Foods Muscle in the Morning. I'm Dave Palumbo, and today is Monday, November 21st, 2022. And let's find out what's going on in the world of bodybuilding and fitness. In the business world, loss aversion is something a good negotiator always keeps in mind because it's a strong driver of human behavior. People are more willing to sacrifice something to avoid a loss than they are to achieve a potential gain. That's been proven over and over again across all sorts of domains, and it's especially true in competitive sports, which is why someone like Urs Kalecinski, who has an underdog mentality, is so dangerous. When someone believes that losing or failing to meet whatever their own expectations are is going to trigger some sort of a significant loss, they're more willing to completely empty the tank because they're driven by that loss aversion. So if Urs can get himself to that place mentally, it makes him a dangerous man, because feeling like you've got everything to lose is a place no one wants to be. I want to stick with this concept of loss aversion for a minute because I think it's relevant to Brandon Curry's situation as well. Because in Brandon's case, here we have a guy who's been to the very top of the mountain, but then after he stumbled and fell down a few feet, not only did he manage to brush himself off and keep going, he's actually even better than he was before. In a weird way, by winning the Arnold Classic, Brandon put himself in a position where he has everything to lose again, because this could legitimately be the last chance he has before his championship window closes. Emptying the entire clip here might be his only option, because there are so many young guys out here gunning for the title now that he might not have a chance to reload. And when you have a former Mr. Olympia champion who's driven by a combination of loss aversion and desperation motivation, that's a potent combo that not many people are equipped to deal with. When you're in a negotiation, there are certain things that can become leverage multipliers that you can use to your advantage to make sure the deal works out in your favor, and you don't end up in situations where you have to settle for splitting the difference. One of the ways you create a leverage multiplier is by identifying as many of your known knowns as possible, so you have some proverbial guide post to help you stay the course. And when you're in a position like Hadi Choopan, where you've never placed outside of the top 3 at the Olympia, and you've already identified where the weaknesses in your opponents are, well, it makes a whole lot of sense to execute a strategic plan of attack coming down the stretch. Bodybuilding, like boxing or MMA, in the sense bodybuilding is like boxing or MMA in the sense that you don't normally beat a sitting champion with a split decision. If you want to win the title, you got to have a decisive edge. So if that's the game plan here, Hadi better identify all his known knowns in a hurry, because he's going to need all the leverage multipliers he can get if he wants to make sure this one ends up falling in his favor. If your known knowns are the things that serve as guideposts that you can account for, the flip side of that is having known unknowns, which are the risks that you're aware of, but really have no way to account for until they happen. And out of all the names getting thrown out there as potential top 10 finishers in the men's open, Patrick Johnson's might be the biggest unknown known of them all. His track record is impressive, even if it's small, and he doesn't fall under the same umbrella as someone like Andrew Jacked, who we've all known about because he's had a massive presence for a handful of years. Patrick has beaten guys who many people would have considered household names, but he's still an unknown commodity to a large extent, and that makes him very dangerous. We might know that he's a top 10 threat, but how big of a threat is actually something we just can't account for at this point in time. So if he comes in there fully loaded and ready to go, he could end up being one of the biggest surprises of the entire Olympia weekend. And that does it for yet another edition of Muscle in the Morning. I'm Dave Palumbo, reminding you to always be true to your passions, and make sure to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.